Hello my loves and welcome back to another video. Now today is going to be a juicy topic because we are talking about the goddess Lilith. So Lilith is probably one of the most misrepresented, misunderstood goddesses out there. There is so much BS about her, unfortunately, and she has been hugely demonized, literally. So today I'm going to be exposing what she actually is and really how healing it is to work with her energy and how you can work with her energy at the end of this video. So to begin with, what is the archetype of Lilith energy? That is probably the most important thing to understand when looking at her as a whole, is what she truly represents. So with Lilith energy, she is the sacred rebel archetype. She is the wild woman. She is, the first woman to say no, literally. So she truly does represent that inner wild, dark, feminine, rebellious energy of standing up for yourself, being assertive. So Lilith is truly that energy of like sovereignty, empowerment, authority within yourself, self-respect. So no goddess really teaches that, probably quite as profound as Lilith does, because Lilith, even to this day, still gets demonized horrendously. And so many women carry the energy of Lilith without even realizing that they are. So every single woman that really has been, demonized after enduring abuse, after standing up for herself, which happens all the time, especially against narcissists and whatever, or very misogynistic men in general and women, you always have that energy of Lilith. So according to Abrahamic religious texts, so mainly Judaism, Lilith is said to be the first wife of Adam. So she was created equal to Adam. Not, being his rib like, Eve was said to be, which is bullshit to be honest. But so with Lilith, she was said to not want to lie underneath Adam. She refused to be beneath him, sexually. So it is said that during, sexual intimacy, she refused to lie beneath him. But this goes deeper than just, looking at sex. It goes so much deeper because it's basically her refusing to submit to him, to his dominion. So because that is not what divine masculinity is about. They don't force women into submission. They are devoted to her. It's supposed to be an equal give and take, reciprocal, not transactional. So this is what this energy is all about. So refusing to lie beneath him was refusing to be controlled and dominated by him, in a toxic way. So instead of doing that, she left the Garden of Eden, which really is the comfort zone. And we see this time and time again, throughout all of history and even today, that women will literally stay in very toxic relationships or marriages because of, financial abuse, because they have to be under a certain roof, have a house, with a toxic man, who controls all of that type of thing. But with Lilith, she doesn't care about going out, into the wilderness, which really is having that courage to face that pain, even that heartbreak or whatever the case, for your self-respect. So that's what it truly means, as opposed to, with Eve, obviously after Lilith left, that's when Eve was created apparently from Adam's rib, which meant that she was instantly more submissive. So with Eve, she still got punished though. So when Eve, found, the tree of knowledge, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, meaning that she would have wised up eating the fruit, the forbidden fruits, she got punished for it. And then she was casted out of Eden anyway. She got blamed for it. So do you see how, women are always to blame when it comes to Abrahamic religions? Even with that story, it is said that the serpent was actually Lilith. So she was the serpent. Some say it was actually Eve as well, but like Eve's higher self. But basically the serpent is very representing of like dark feminine energy, that it came to Eve to give her wisdom, to show her the truth, which is a hard truth. And that's why it's the tree of knowledge. Because even when you look at Kabbalah, you see the tree of life and the tree of death. So it's the knowledge of good and evil. So basically, Eve represents spiritual bypassing, living in a bubble, being ignorant, to the truth, being just submissive. So, but with the tree of knowledge, eating the forbidden fruits, which, you know, patriarchal systems don't want women to eat, or men. It's like, oh, now you get to see the full truth. Really, that represents enlightenment. Because remember, enlightenment is not being ignorant to evil. It's about having full awareness of it. You have to be aware of both dark and light and integrate that within yourself to become whole, to become enlightened. So basically, that's what Lilith was helping awaken within Eve. And this is why they demonized her, you know, literally. So when we see the deeper meaning of this, literally accusing her of being a child killing demon is actually quite laughable, because it's like, really brainwashing and manipulating women to conform to submission, but under a patriarchal toxic thumb. She is then said to marry the poison of God demon Samael, which again people confuse or say he is Satan himself, because Samael is also called like the angel of death, the fallen angel. He's the angel of deceit, lies, delusion, basically, yeah, the venom of God. So again, that contradicts so many Sumerian texts and even Gnostic knowledge when it comes to Lilith herself, because why would she conform to literally a demon when she already left Adam to breed thousands of demon children? Like, it literally is laughable. So, but again, it's like, this is another way that they say, oh, women who, you know, go against men of God, you know, which Adam falsely represents, that she will have to be married off to a demon, which actually contradicts Sumerian texts. So that is actually a lie. So when you look at Abrahamic religion texts as a whole, you can see just how obvious it is that it's just patriarchal propaganda. It's a smear campaign to demonize, you know, both the divine feminine and also the dark feminine, because the same thing happened with Mary Magdalene. They, you know, for years said that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, when now that is known to be false. So even the Pope admitted this. She was actually a priestess. She was just as knowledgeable as Jesus. She was actually his successor when he passed away. So, and many people do believe that obviously there were a couple, a divine union of the divine masculine and a divine feminine. So again, all of this has massively been hidden, but go read, you know, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Thomas, which of course is called hearsay, which they deliberately removed from the Bible. You know, in ancient Christianity, there was female teachers, which of course nowadays they demonize. So do you see how they always remove female power and authority, especially when it comes to spirituality, so they don't have to be accountable for the sick, twisted shit that they can do within a patriarchal toxic system, which is very clear and obvious today, especially with the Epstein files being released. We can see just how toxic and corrupted the majority of religions and really male power has created within the world today. So this is why, you know, the divine feminine and this Lilith energy was so demonized, literally, because that energy sees the unseen. When you look at the words Lilith, that actually originates again from Sumerian texts. So the etymology of the word Lilith is Lilu or Li or Lilitu. And again, people mistakenly think that that means night creature or night demon when it doesn't. It actually means spirit of air, wind, and night currents. So again, it's more to do with the emotional, subconscious, dark feminine energy, which really that is an important aspect of the feminine, because really on the deeper level, that is what priestesses heal, is they see the unseen. That's what intuition is for. So this is why women are connected to the moon more so than the sun. It's because we see the unseen. This is why women are more naturally drawn to the occult, witchcraft, paranormal, even true crime. It's like we're built for that. That is the dark side of feminine energy. So this is why that Lilith energy has been demonized. So basically they can blind women, so they don't tap into that true fiery intuition and of course take action upon it. Because with Lilith energy, she doesn't have fear. So she was not scared to say no and stand up for herself and walk away and shine a light on corruption. So Lilith energy is hugely to do with justice, wild, untamed, uncontrollable energy of not surrendering, not submitting in the eyes of injustice. So whenever she will be oppressed or see oppression, that is when that inner wild, untamed fire is released. So it's kind of like that inner dragon that comes out when she has to. So, you know, when you look at feminine energy, really, Lilith is the dark feminine. She is that inner warrior, that justice, that fire, which is fucking scary at times. It's like she is that uncontrollable, relentless, forceful energy when she sees injustice, when she sees oppression, but even with herself. So Lilith energy is way more powerful and raw and primal than people actually realize. It's so much deeper than just her being mistakenly used and abused and given the name of the mother of demons. She's not that. And even with like new age, more spiritual Satanists, even they misrepresent her. She is used as a very primal, ancient, raw energy to one, awaken within yourself, to be basically a conduit for her energy. That's what it's all about. So again, similar with my Hecate video, you're not supposed to just, use Lilith to like hex people and do petty shits with. You're supposed to actually be a walking conduit of her archetype, of her energy, because you can literally change the whole fucking world. If every woman embodies that energy, the whole world would literally change, you know, for the better. So this is what it's all about. It's not about demonizing her as some sexual, promiscuous, you know, evil demon, demonic energy. That is not what she is at all. Again, even with the sexual energy, it is not about being some promiscuous whore. That is not what Lilith is all about. If anything, it's the opposite. Because again, what did she do under Adam? She did not open her legs for him. She closed her legs. So again, it's about sacred rebellion of knowing your self-worth. So with Lilith, it's truly activating your self-respect, your self-worth, self-love. So truly that sovereign authoritative power within yourself. Basically not conforming and not settling for anyone. That's what it's all about. Not just being promiscuous and acting unhinged and chaotic. That is not what Lilith energy is about. That's actually a facade. That is an illusion. So don't conform to the idea of Lilith being the scapegoat. Remember, Lilith was not evil. She was just uncontrollable. People need to understand that a lot of spiritual truths get inverted. It's all inversion propaganda. Like this witch wound goes hand in hand with Lilith energy, because time and time again, women who embody Lilith traits, you know, true Lilith traits, are always condemned. They're always called crazy, insane. They're definitely victims of, you know, narcissistic abuse, a hell of a lot. But this sacred rage is so empowering, so beautiful. And this is what the world needs more now than ever. And this is why so many women are feeling naturally drawn towards Lilith energy, even despite the, you know, smear campaign. But this also affects men, because men, if, you know, fearing women who embody Lilith energy, will also be tricked into being submissive and actually controlled by a toxic system themselves. So it goes hand in hand. So again, this isn't about men versus women, because men, you know, good men are still victims to the patriarchal system. So, you know, this is why porn is free. This is why all these things are still, you know, basically tricking you to drain you, to take your life force as well. Because if a man actually listens to a woman who is in tune with her dark feminine, who isn't fearful to speak to him, to tell him what he needs to do to basically address his shadow and grow into a strong divine masculine, you know, to be each other's teachers, he will grow tremendously himself. But men who are stuck in a patriarchal system will never grow. They literally stay slaves. They stay blind. And they'll never achieve their true sovereign power. So I'm now going to get into the 5 ways that you can work with Lilith energy yourself. So number 1 is radical self-sovereignty. And when I mean radical, I mean radical. So this looks like real self-respect. And I mean very high standards, especially in relationships. So with Lilith energy, she is very, very in tune when it comes to relationship dynamics. So this will look like not settling for men who are abusive towards you, who want to oppress you, dominate you, use you for your body, who purely only see you in a lustful way. So this basically in action looks like you having the self-respect to basically activate genuine self-love, so you do not conform to a sick society, not getting in relationships out of loneliness or desperation or whatever the case. So this looks like never ever settling for any form of disrespect or abuse. And even when you're in a relationship, as soon as you see red flags, as soon as he's treating you like shit, you leave. So this can be, I know, very, very hard when you're in a narcissistic trauma bond relationship. But this is why you have to have that wake up call, that reality check, and really understand, right, as soon as you intuitively feel something's wrong, intuitively know that he's up to no good. If you catch him lying, if he has a wandering eye, if he watches porn or whatever the case, if he disrespects you, if he's emotionally gay, so if he only has a misogynistic mindset of only taking advice and listening to men but not to you, leave. So you have to really learn the true red flags of what it means of a toxic man and not settle for that, because that is really the number one true embodiment of Lilith, is not tolerating disrespect. You know, this was the biggest lesson that she taught me, is truly not having the fear of being independent, not having the fear of walking away from a toxic relationship, no longer allowing a narcissist to keep re-entering my life. But when you truly work with Lilith energy, it is so fucking strong and fiery that your anger channels into respect. So this is the most powerful way to alchemize and transmute fear into self-respect. When you really integrate self-respect and you have that self-love get activated through that anger, through that sacred rage of like really looking at how they're treating you, that instantly sets you free. So remember, Lilith energy is about freedom. And this means not tolerating abuse from anyone, but especially in relationships, you know, romantic relationships, no matter who they are. Real self-sovereignty is basically integrated self-respect. So number 2 is honoring your rage. So this is probably one of the biggest things that Lilith actually helped me heal, was to stop internalizing my rage and my anger as something negative. So for so long, obviously, especially if you've gone through toxic relationships, you'll always get demonized whenever you get angry or shout or scream or basically be assertive when someone is hurting you, voicing your pain. Because truly that's what anger is. Most of the time is unresolved grief. It's your boundaries getting crossed. So this is like reactive abuse. Even outwardly within the world, when you see injustice, when you see things that are so fucking evil and dark, you're allowed to be angry. That sacred rage is holy. This is why even when we look at pictures of Jesus, his heart is on fire, like I've said many times. So don't demonize your anger. Don't demonize your rage, especially when you're empathic. One of the most dangerous things you can do is to suppress your rage, because when you do this, it internalizes and that makes you sick. If you don't allow yourself to be angry and then take action on that, you will literally get sick. You'll get abused, and then eventually you'll go into freeze mode. So you won't fight anymore. You'll form as a trauma response, and then you freeze. And trust me, as someone who was stuck in freeze mode for fucking years, is one of the most hardest things to get out of. So when your nervous system gets into freeze mode because it's gone through so much trauma and gets shut down and conditioned to be silenced, that is the modern day witch wound. And that is literally you playing dead. This is what I mean, that narcissists kill your soul. They kill your spirit, because your body gets so severely stressed and traumatized that you shut down. And the only thing that thaws that ice, that thaws your fucking nervous system to get out of freeze mode is fire. So you need that anger, you need that rage to literally defreeze yourself. So you can take action and fight when you need to fight. Even if it's difficult, you have to fucking fight for yourself. Otherwise, if you don't, you will stay being abused, suppressed, oppressed, and frozen. And you'll never ever be in your sovereign power or even free within your mind, body, or spirit when you don't honor your rage. So number 3 is sexual energy respect. So respecting yourself sexually. So like I said before, Lilith energy is not about being in a promiscuous, insecure, disrespectful energy at all, especially when it comes to sexual energy. So true Lilith energy is not about that. It's actually about honoring your womb, honoring your sexual energy. So this doesn't mean you have to go around like a nun and covering yourself head to toe. No, you wear whatever the fuck you want, but it's about respecting your body, honoring your body, honoring your sexuality. So this means not just opening your legs for any man that wants to have access to you. This is about being very picky with who you allow into your womb, who you allow to touch your body, because self-respect is literally honoring your body like a temple, not just having anyone touch you. People have to earn that privilege to get access to your sacral energy. People have to earn the privilege to embrace your body, to see you naked and that type of thing. So don't lay underneath anyone. Literally only lay with divine masculine men who respect you, who actually deserve to touch you. Not ones who are just using your body to masturbate in and dump you like a piece of trash. No, that is not Lilith energy. So this is about truly standing up for yourself and not settling just out of loneliness. This is about honoring your temple, honoring your body. And even when you are sexual with a man, when you share that intimacy with them, honor yourself. Don't just lay there and just do what he wants. You know, don't be just thinking, oh, what can I do? Or perform like a porn star. No, literally honor what you want. Allow yourself to receive pleasure. Tell him what you want. Tell him what feels good. Don't just lay there and perform and only focus on doing things to like please him. This is about learning what actually gives you pleasure, what feels good. Don't force yourself to do things that you don't want to do in the bedroom. Like if a guy is trying to force you to do a certain sexual act that you do not feel comfortable or do not want to do, don't do it. So that is Lilith energy, is saying no. So learn to say no. And if he gets upset, if he cheats on you, out the window, he is not worth your fucking time. This is about having such fucking strong self-respect, high standards, that you do not conform to a sick society. Because remember, everything you see on porn is an inversion of what sex should be. There is so much tantric sexual power that completely gets suppressed, especially when it comes to women. Women are naturally very sexual creatures. You can literally orgasm through like 7 different body parts, way more than men. But they don't show you this in porn. So when you're in the bedroom, don't be scared of men. Literally speak up. Like this is about literally telling them, educating them what feels good, what you want and what doesn't. And never, ever sleep with a man out of pity or grooming or coercion. Because again, so many men think that they don't essay women, but they do. Because if you're pressuring or grooming or trying to, coerce a woman into sleeping with you, that is a form of essay. Emotional essay, which doesn't get spoken about much. So don't conform to that. And number 4 is boundary magic. So when it comes to actual rituals and that type of thing, invoking boundary magic, banishment spells is a very, very powerful way to tap into Lilith energy. Because again, that's basically what she did. She frees herself. She stands up for herself. She's assertive. So doing things like cord cuttings, doing things like invoking dark feminine energy, energy. So as a side note, if you do want to truly go deep and activate your dark feminine energy, I do have a sale on my dark feminine activation book, which does include free rituals as well as a lot of knowledge to truly awaken yourself, including a banishment spell, so a cord cutting demo, a womb cleansing demo. So again, that's removing toxic sexual energy that would have been imprinted from you from other relationships, and also a dark goddess initiation, death and rebirth ritual. So I highly recommend tapping into that, and I will link that down below. On sale, £10 off original price. So, but this is one of probably the most, again, freeing things that I did myself, because I'd never done these type of rituals until I truly had to. And me standing up for myself was truly a powerful way of invoking dark feminine energy, truly reclaiming my power back. Because truly that is what this type of spell work is all about, is reclaiming your power. And whilst we're on the topic of magic and rituals, I do have a very quick shout out to give to, again, Otter Spirit. I have shouted this company out a few times. I really do love their crystal jewelry. Do donate to a Sea Otter charity. So, but with this new range, they now have brand new crystal spheres, and they were kind enough to send me a beautiful amethyst stone. So amethyst is definitely one of my favorite crystals. And as you can see, it's got very beautiful markings, and these are triple grade A crystals. So they're very, very high quality. So, but they also have, I think, rose quartz and a few other really beautiful ones. It was hard to pick when they offered me one, but I chose amethyst, as personally I do love it a lot. As always, I'll give you my code, so use that to get a percentage off the full price. It will also be linked in the comments and in the description box down below. And number 5 is embracing your inner wild woman. So obviously with Lilith energy, she is untamed. She's a bit feral. She is a bit unhinged, but in a good way. So this isn't about reckless chaos. This is about really not conforming to societal expectations. So especially if you're an older woman, or, you know, going through menopause or whatever the case, is like, you know, this can be as simple as, you know, dressing however you like, growing your hair really long, you know, not dyeing your hair if you want to keep your hair white or grey, you know, as you age, dressing witchy, dressing like a gypsy, like whatever the case. But even within yourself, it's like, don't conform to societal expectations, really being authentically you. Because with Lilith energy, this is about true authenticity, which again goes hand in hand with Fire Horse year of actually honoring your identity within yourself. Because so many women, especially spiritual women or empathic women, naturally are going against the grain. They live unconventional lives. They're more taboo. So this is about embodying all elements of yourself, you know, even sensual. Allow yourself to dance, allow yourself to be artistic, creative, weird. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. This isn't about being ladylike. This is about being you. This is about being real. And the real men, the real friends, or whatever the case, will respect you for that. They won't fall in love with a false, you know, perfectly conditioned mask. They'll fall in love with your fucking soul. And this is what Lilith energy is about, is shining, being bold, being bright, being fiery, so you can manifest the right types of people that will actually love you, that will respect you. So it's like, stop putting yourself in a small little box with a cute little bow and, you know, with a fake smile. It's like, fuck all that. Be real, be wild, be raw. So, you know, look at the animals, again, that connect us with Lilith. It's like that wild wolf energy, you know, so show that side of yourself. Don't cover it, don't hide it. It's like, you know, and if people won't accept that, that's their problem. So really, Lilith energy is about almost being like a female Sigma archetype. It's about not giving a shit anymore. It's about being more stoic, more detached, but in a beautiful way, not an avoidant, shut down way. It's not a trauma response, it's authentic. So authentic detachment to be who you truly are. You know, and this is the energy that heals the witch wounds. So many women who are naturally drawn to Lilith or embody inner Lilith energy are riddled with ancestral trauma, religious trauma, witch wound energy, even priestess wounds. So it's like you have all this conditioning that you need to rip out of you, that you need to burn away. So even doing a cord cutting with that within yourself, doing cord cuttings of people that try to condition you to be this or a nun or whatever the case. It's like literally burn it to the ground. Allow your inner dragon to come out, because that is what feminine energy is truly about, is embodying your inner dragon and your inner rose. Because really Lilith is the dark feminine energy of Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is like that rose lineage, that divine priestess energy. Lilith is the dark priestess, that dark goddess energy. So it's like embody both. So this is about embodying that energy. Don't push her away, because she is here to literally protect you. And look at nature, it's very feral, it's very wild. So tune into that energy within yourself, not this kind of conformist matrix little old perfect box of beige, you know, boringness. It's like literally awaken that raw primal energy of Lilith, nature energy, because that is what you need, that grounded energy, that root chakra energy. This is why she's usually associated with the color red, because she will protect that within you. This is that fierceness of protection, that mother bear energy as well. This is about, you know, primal protection of your sovereignty, of your body, of your temple. She is an ancient archetypal current, a frequency to activate within yourself that will awaken women to their power. So that's what it truly means to work with Lilith, is you invoke that energy within yourself. You awaken it. So this is the point of genuine occultic teachings, genuine occultic rituals, is to invoke transformation. So with Lilith energy, it's about transforming yourself to be sovereign, be empowered, to not live in fear, to not be trapped in the nervous system of fawning. So this is like truly healing that energy of codependency, fawning, fear, people pleasing, because so many people are trapped, especially women, in that energy. So this is about stepping out of that and awakening yourself, awakening your fire, so you don't tolerate that anymore. That is Lilith energy. You know, empowered energy is about being wise, not just, you know, reckless for no reason. That's a wounded feminine. That's coming from a wounded, traumatized ego. So really of self-harm and self-hatred. That's not Lilith energy. So I hope all that made sense, my loves. And if you do want to activate your own dark feminine energy and go from being broken and scared to a fucking dragon, then please click the link down below and you can get a sale on that. Again, if you do need a cord cutting done that I can do on your behalf, then I can do that for you as well. If you want to join my Goddess Coven Patreon for way more content, especially with conspiracies that are no longer conspiracies, so all to do with exposing fake gurus, narcissistic warlocks, loads of content that are basically all about what the files have recently released. I've covered all of that on my Patreon, so go check that out. I also have card readings, I also have rituals as well, moon readings, and of course spell tutorials. And again, another reminder, the discount for the Otter Spirit crystals will also be down below, where you can get a discount on all their new products, so all their crystal spheres and also their jewelry. So until next time, my loves, please don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video to women who need to awaken their inner Lilith energy. Please click the notification bell so you get reminders of my new uploads. And until next time, I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Stay fierce, stay powerful. Ahimsa.